Minister, I appreciate you can't speak about the Fine Gael manifesto because it hasn't even been released yet, but as for your personal opinion, would you like to see a return of the policy that was in a previous Fine Gael manifesto where the number of unnecessary QUANGOs would be reduced greatly? This was a policy that was floated by your party but never actually materialised in the years after that particular election, and I'm wondering, is that the kind of thing that you think still has merit and would be worth considering for the upcoming election?
Well, I think there was a reduction in the number of state agencies between 2011 and 2016. That did happen.
I believe there was a net increase. Some were closed down, but so many more were opened during that period that there was actually a growth in the number of such organisations as opposed to a reduction.
Which is why, as I look into the time ahead, and I mean my own recollection, it's many years ago now, is there were state agencies that were closed down. You may well be right, indeed, other ones were opened up during that period. For me, in terms of the time ahead, what is more important is that we can show that the state agencies are delivering against their mandate and using the taxpayers' money well. We have opened up new state agencies in the last year alone. I would look at the work of QUAN, for example, the work that they are doing as an example of the kind of agency that will be needed. I'm always questioning, do we need to open up new agencies? I would be inherently cautious about doing it. But the ones that have been opened up under this government in particular, this manifesto, which we're currently preparing, won't be recommending the closure of agencies that have only just been set up. But my general disposition in these matters is to be cautious about the opening up of new ones.
Do you think there's a concern, given some of the recent scandals that we've seen between RTE and its finances and then the OPW and the bike shed and that whole saga, do you think there's a concern that there are many more state agencies that are running themselves in a similar way, financially unaccountable, that might require very intense scrutiny, but there's just simply so many of these organisations, it's almost a kind of a Borg-like blob that is not typically scrutinised by the media?
I actually know who the Borg are, I should tell you. The agencies that we're talking about is far removed from the Borg as you can imagine, and they are highly accountable. I mean, anybody who goes into the Public Accounts Committee, which these agencies can do, can see the accountability they have to deal with. I'm accountable to the Dáil. I only had a debate about it yesterday evening in relation to the taxpayers' money. I'll be in the Shannon for the afternoon again, dealing with two pieces of legislation on that. And yes, of course, in terms of the public, I know, because it's been said to me and will be said to me again, that issues like the bike shed, of course, anger, understandably, people so much regarding the use of the country's money. But I'll still make the argument, and I'll make it in the weeks ahead, that even though the uses of money like that are wrong, if you look at an agency like the Office of Public Works, that's the same agency that's building flood relief schemes all over the country. And it's doing it really well. And they have an excellent track record in delivering those schemes. It's the OPW who are also involved, for example, in the delivery of new Garda stations. And they do a lot of that work well. And I want to reiterate that what happened in relation to the bike shed was wrong. It shouldn't have happened. But I still do have to make the case that the majority of times these agencies do use the country's money in the way the country wants. And if I see the relief that local communities have and their response to the flood relief schemes that the OPW are implementing, it's a reminder to me of how they do their work well with regard to that.
Thank you.